So I would be ready to buy AMC if it were to actually be trading above $5 per share. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and you guys know that I was well aware of, talking about AMC when it was very overbought, and to make beginners aware of the risk involved, right? I always like to remind our beginners to never be afraid to lock in profits, especially with these kind of pump and dumps. I've said it from the beginning. I'm not part of your AMC movement or your GME movement. I'm not here to pretend to be. I'm here to trade it. I shorted it on the way down and I'm willing to go long on it, but I wanted to share kind of like my game plan. There's no question that both AMC and, we can look at GME today. GME is getting absolutely ran through today. It's down 5.3%. It's I would say, lesser of the two as of right now, with consistent lower lows and lower highs. It's coming back to retest its support at $20 per share. But then it's kind of asking the question, is this rally done? It doesn't have to be, right? Because we're still holding above the moving average and it still shows its capabilities of potentially breaking out. But please don't be faked out by these very small rallies, especially for those that don't end up actually even locking in profits. If you don't understand overbought or oversold levels, overbought and oversold levels, then again, maybe this just isn't a stock that you personally want to trade. But when looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, it's clear as day. We've retraced quite a bit from highs of $13. I think it's lost about 70% of its value, right? So 66%. I think it's GME that's lost 70% of its value. Now we're kind of consolidating and flatlining here. I would like to see progress above the EMA. So yes, this 3 or 6% move that it's having is great, but we all know one thing. AMC and GME, when those things get going, they take off. And when they take off, again, it's those breakouts that are the ones that make people a lot of money. When you can enter, when it's completely breaking out, when momentum is in your favor, when it's getting, stopped every 5 to 10 minutes. But it's for a reason, right? Because it's pushing more than 10% within a 5 to 10 minute period. It's a circuit breaker. That almost makes more sense to me on why I would rather partake in that breakout than trying to buy now and hoping for something to happen. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of beginners make is you try to trade the very small moves while direction is still very unclear, because we do not know if we're going to end up getting rejected here, break below the moving average, and then continue to sell off. That would be a definite possibility for AMC and for GME. But as of right now, it's testing this EMA. It's trying to see if it could break above and completely break out. And during those breakouts, again, I would encourage you to take a step back and actually see on the larger timeframes on how it looks. And when these things absolutely begin to take off, then yes, that momentum, that hype begins to follow. Everyone begins to jump in and it begins to actually make sense. So instead of hoping and entering early for something to happen, I think this is where it will pay to be patient. Again, you're an adult. You can do whatever it is that you want. But this is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the price action to begin to trade above, closer to $5, above $5. I don't mind getting in, not at the lowest price point. I would rather be late to a rally than to be early to a sell-off. That's one of the sayings that I love sharing with our LPP team, because it reminds us the importance of waiting for confirmation, for true direction to be in our favor. Because again, we all know one thing, and it's so much easier to make money when direction is in your favor rather than getting in early and then feeling devastated and being ran through that emotional roller coaster when direction is not going according to plan, right? So that was a quick little game plan for AMC and for GME. Again, I would love to see it break out. I really would, for all of you guys, and hopefully this time you guys actually begin to take profits. But there's no reason for us to jump in early, especially when direction is not favorable right now. No reason to overcomplicate it. I don't care about how much you believe about your movement. It means absolutely nothing when the price action is not following, in its footsteps, right? So the other thing that I want to talk about is two main focuses for this week. NVIDIA, which is again a $1 trillion company, 2.33 trillion, reports earnings on Wednesday. So it's going to be May 22nd after the market closes. Again, just another reason to subscribe. I would love to host that free live session for you guys here on YouTube. All I ask you is, again, get this video to over 1,000 likes, and I would be more than happy to host that free live session so we can watch together NVIDIA report earnings, as NVIDIA has been extremely bullish. It's been the leader, the market leader in AI, in the way that hype really began to take off. And we'll see. Are we going to make new highs, or is this time going to be different and actually pull on back? Remember, I don't like to have a position right before earnings happens. I like to trade the reaction after. So I'm really excited to follow up. And the second thing that you need to be aware is if you head on over to techputsolutions.com, one of the things that you will see is that this upcoming week we have FOMC minutes. And for those that are unaware of what FOMC minutes are pretty much just a recap on the most recent FOMC meeting and giving us a better understanding of who voted for what and what was the sentiment. Do we expect an interest rate cut as soon as the next meeting, or are more people convinced that we're going to need a little bit more data to support an interest rate cut? So that's exactly what we have going on 2 p.m. Eastern time, and that's going to be on 2 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. So NVIDIA reporting earnings after the market closes, and then 2 p.m. Eastern time, FOMC minutes. The reason I'm making you aware of that is because the market will react to once those reports come out. NVIDIA is a $1 trillion company. It has a lot of influence, and then FOMC minutes, obviously, is based off of the Federal Reserve, and monetary policy will influence the overall NASDAQ market depending on what the sentiment is said to be during those Fed minutes. So I appreciate your time. I hope that we're in a thumbs up. If you have any questions, again, feel free to comment down below. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.